Coming out of the 2012 season, I felt amazing. You know, I'd won the series overall, and that was obviously a huge high for me. But by no means had it been a perfect season. So that winter, we started working with our new coach, Alan Milway. So 2013, you know, I was really up for it. I knew that we changed a little bit of stuff, and I was really up for it, and I knew that it was going to be a good year.
She works so hard. Rach is just always on it.
I think the thing that makes Rach so good is her determination. You know, since she was very young, as soon as she started racing, she had that grit inside her to really push through whatever was in her way.
Going into the first World Cup in Fort William was a bit of a funny time for me. You know, I didn't know whether I'd be fit to, you know, whether I could handle it, whether that raw, you know, aggression that you need on the bike, on the track, I didn't know if it was going to be there or not. I wanted to win it this year more than I've wanted to win it any other year. My actual race run at Fort William was pretty special because it's one of the only races where I can clearly remember hearing almost every single person that was at the side of the track, you know, saying my name or saying something, and I could hear it clear as day.
Rachel's performance at Fort William was unbelievable. She's never won that race before. That's the race that she most wanted in the bag. It's always eluded her, so to go there and to win is pretty amazing.
It's a home crowd, it's in front of all her friends and family, and you know, it's quite a tricky one to win because that pressure is there, and she used that pressure to her advantage. She really turned it around. She was buzzing off it all weekend, and you know, she didn't just win, she absolutely crushed it.
One of the main things I wanted to say to everyone, you know, was thank you. I didn't know I was getting upset. Going into the second World Cup in Val di Sole in Italy, it's really long and really physical, and absolutely no pedalling on it. So it really is the opposite to Fort William. And you know, you've got roots and rocks everywhere. I remember thinking near the bottom, if anyone's beaten that, then fair play to them. You know, they deserve to win because I know I rode that fast. World Cup number 3 was in Andorra. Because the track was new on the World Cup circuit, she and I were one of the few people who hadn't ridden it before. For me, the pure sort of pleasure that you get from riding a brand new track for the first time, I think you need that in a World Cup because I was buzzing the whole weekend, and it was thick mud, there was mud everywhere, you could barely stay on your bike down the track, and that made it even more fun. It was a pretty cool experience to be having that much fun on my bike at a World Cup. You know, I was like, and then I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. And then you're like, okay, I've got a race soon, just chill out a little bit. World Cup number 4 was in Mont-Sainte-Anne in Canada, and I've had good races there and bad races there. It was turning out to be this really intense race season. The weather conditions at Mont-Sainte-Anne changed quite a lot through the weekend, so the conditions were slightly different to how I'd practiced them. And I remember coming down the first sort of section of track, absolutely pinned, and then into the first words, just bang, and then suddenly I was on the floor, like over the bars, bike on the back of my head. And I was just glad that I've crashed and not gotten beaten. So after the World Cup in Mont-Sainte-Anne in Canada, I knew that we had a couple of weeks to, you know, recover, get yourself prepared and ready to race the World Championships. I went into it absolutely 100% certain that I could win.
So Rachel Atherton then, riding for Team GT. What's she going to do this afternoon? Well, she's been working on her pedalling, taking the first win she's ever had at Fort William this year. That big pedalling bottom section probably doesn't compare to this, but Rachel Atherton now becoming the complete package. She's within sight of a gold medal, safely down through those last rock sections. Here she comes in down the line. Rachel Atherton does it. She takes gold in Pietermaritzburg. 8.6 the winning margin.
The pain when I crossed the line, I couldn't see anything, I couldn't stand up, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't do a thing. And everyone's like, why aren't you celebrating? They've just won the world champs. And I couldn't move, it was just agony, my whole body. And now I know that I can hurt that much and, you know, and still ride my bike, and that's a pretty cool thing to know. After South Africa, we had to sort of get back into the World Cup scene and race the final 2 World Cups. The next one was in Norway in Hafjell. You know, you really have to be an all-round rider to ride that track fast. It was the wettest I've ever seen it. You know, I knew that the track was going to be absolutely lethal. I love the rain, you know, I feed off it. I'm from the UK and we ride in the rain all the time, so I knew that I could ride the track faster in the wet than the other girls. It was the first race where I got to wear the World Champs stripes on my jersey. I just got a little bit of an extra edge, you know, a little bit more sort of attack in me, and it felt damn good. The final World Cup of the year was in Leogang in Austria, and I've got a little bit of history there. I've never won at that venue before. There's always been something that's happened to me there. I was going in slightly nervous, and I had to finish, I don't know, top 5 or something to get the overall, so it wasn't certain for sure. Potentially I could be the double world champion this year. I gave everything I had in my race run, but I just got pipped to the post by half a second, I think. So I came in second, and Emmeline Rago was first, which was a good way to end the year because, you know, I ended it been beaten, and that gives you fuel for the winter, you know. That gives you motivation, I think. I got beat the last race before the off-season, unbeaten, and, you know, I need to step my game up. Is 2014 going to be as successful as 2013? And, you know, I've got no answer to that, but I would like to say yes, it's going to be, but I have no doubt that it's going to be damn hard to do.